Hi guys, welcome to this week's edition of 5KP program. It's Tuesday, May 18th, 2021. Adam speaking, Option Mindful, broadcasting from my Ampe still. It's my last week here, so it's time to be moving. Interesting video today. Before we go there, of course, always I need to bring this disclaimer because it's very, very important for you to know that this video is for informational, educational purposes only. General in nature, no financial advice is given. We're just learning how to trade options and stocks and so on, and do some technical analysis on some tickers. No advice is given, so whatever you do is on you, not on me. Okay, so if you agree, let's move on. And today's program is going to be focusing around a couple things. So first of all, we're going to be looking at the performance of the portfolio as always. So we reached the point where we are around 8k, or about a little bit above 8k. So moving from 5k to 8k was not that hard, as you can see with options. There will be a new trade which I want to discuss with you on this free video which is gonna go to YouTube. This is the Intel speculative trade. Looks like Intel has been beaten up a lot. It's a value company, and looks like it may recover quite nicely, so why not try to benefit from this? I'm going to show you a little technique to not put all your money in for that and still be in a really nice bullish trade, which is very nicely risk managed. Then we move on to the part for my optionmindful.com students, and this will be about discussing the portfolio items, which all the tickers that we have there. Plus we'll be focusing on HL trades, so Hecla mining, silver producer. We had a really nice trade on this, so I want to show you how how did we achieve the success in there. So I'm gonna manage this position as well today, and basically discuss how did it happen that we made so much money on this. Okay, then we move on to another interesting portfolio item, which is PBR, Petrolero Brasileiro, and we had a really nice trade there as well. So I'm building up position on this. We had a little currency on the account to actually go full in and start proper option trading. So I started building up positions with 10 shares and moving on. We've been already successful on this trade. I sold some put options on this, and you will see how this grows the benefits on the account. So very, very focused program today. So I will move on now to simply do the little routine that we always do. Go to the news and see what's going on. So today, as you can see, markets not move too much, sideways action, more or less 0.001 on Dow, 0.003 negative on S&P 500, more or less. Information technology seems to be strong, and consumer discretionary as well. These sectors are sectors to watch today. Weak energy, real estate, communication services. Okay, that's just for today. So little trading conviction to start the day. Housing starts and building permits report for April was relatively disappointing. Nothing much going on really. If you look at the calendar, okay, calendar also tells you that there is not much red boxes in here. There is something going on in Europe this Friday, which is going to be about PMI numbers for services and manufacturing. That may be something to watch if you're trading something in the European markets, or some ETF, which are also based on some stocks on the European market. But other than that, it won't touch us too much. Lagarde speaks. This is, I don't know why this is still orange. I think she may announce something crazy. But actually everything goes according to expectations, just more printing, more free currency to everybody. Next week, not too much also, so I think we have to move to 2 weeks from now to see some red boxes there. So there will be some OPEC meetings, so some news about oil, and then Friday, June 4th, employment rate, employment change numbers. That can be something interesting to watch, and probably also no surprise, terrible numbers. But that doesn't seem to affect the markets anymore, so as you know. Finviz, let's have a look at the global outlook. So Dow started high, dropped down. It's still not too much lower than yesterday. moving sideways. Nasdaq a little bit up, S&P a little bit up, but just 0.03. It's just sideways move. Looks like we have a bullish tendency today, so everything seems to be green, not maybe in high percentage, but green. At least on S&P map here on the big companies. Then when we go down and look at the other assets such as gold, natural gas, you see crude is down a little bit, gas is down quite a bit. Gold stands still, but it had an amazing bull run recently. You have also 10-year yields, treasury yields, and this is up to, it's just moving up and up and up, which is now correlating a little bit with gold. So if this goes up, theoretically gold should go down, but it didn't. So something definitely going on the gold market, and I want to show you what I found out. Like if you just look at the GC futures and zoom out and basically load a weekly chart, zoom out a little bit, you see this huge run from 2001 to 2009 or around 2011, I would say, where we reached the peak, and then we had this big decline, and we have a little cup and handle formation here, which is suggesting long term the cup going from like 2011 to 2021, now 2020 I would say, building up, and a little decline here, and now we broke out of the zone of 1850s. Out of here, it suggests a little, it suggests a huge bullishness in the gold futures market. I think it may continue going up. It's very critical that it maintains this zone, because it could come back and just continue building that handle. But if it does break out and it goes above 1900s, reaches 2000s, it's just gonna explode. That's the bullishness that I see there. You see the little channel has been broken here on the daily chart of the futures. We've been having a downwards moving channel going down, and here we have a little breakout, and let's see if this is gonna continue. So it basically broke this resistance zone, and it's probably gonna continue up. So unless the banksters go and start working on bringing gold down, you never know. It's a very speculative market. People obviously talk about huge manipulation in this market. If it is highly manipulated, then we may probably see something moving down. Silver has been performing extremely good, so it's building this ascending triangle over on the daily chart. What you can see here is just been moving sideways, but now it's touching the highs again. So highest highs or whatever of the silver has been around 30. We are now at the level 28.32. If it just continues and breaks this on the upper, if it just breaks 30s, the next stop is probably around 50s. So lots of bullishness in the silver market. There is a lot of demand for silver, EVs, solar, electronics. So it's not just monetary markets, and of course we also have this inflation going on, and currency printing going on. So obviously this is very bullish for silver. If this market's not going to be manipulated further, then we may see like huge jump up in silver. There is also the silver squeeze movement, where the guys are trying to just drain COMEX of physical silver. This is of course also a bullishness, it's a bullish trend, which we can't just stop considering. So I'm gonna move now from all these charts. So you've seen S&P 500. No, I didn't show you. I just show you gold. S&P 500 just keeps going. S&P 500. So futures just sideways move now. Had a little correction, but came back up and just moves basically on the line that I drew a long time ago. It just continues going, and it will continue going. I don't see, unless it breaks this big channel and something terrible news happen again, then we may see some correction. But with the currency printing, with the Fed telling everybody that they just do anything to bring that market up, pumping more free currency into the market, well, where it goes here. And what will the company owners do when they receive all this free currency? They don't know what to do with it. They will start buying their own stocks, and then the shares of their own company. So that will bring the prices up again. And so we're building something up before a major crash, but when the crash will happen, I don't know. For now, I don't consider it happening anytime soon. So That's a little update. When you look at the VIX, VIX has dropped down, had this massive spike on the inflation news and some fear, came back down. I think it's just going to stay at this area, at this level for a while, but you can see that it can jump anytime, and as the fear can be really easily created on the market now with just one tweet from Janet Yellen or Elon Musk can create a huge movement of the market. So it's a huge circus. It's, I don't know how to call this market, casino, probably the closest to what you can get. But let's move on to our non-casino portfolio, and I wanted to discuss with you first of all portfolio performance, then Intel trade. So let's do that. Portfolio performance really good. What is it now? Year to date, 3.8k. That's nice. So basically, I don't know if you look at the percentage, we're like way above 50% return on investment already. The whole account is 8.6k. So starting the year with 5k in less than 4 months, 4.5 months, we did quite nice move here, starting with a very little account, making it 8.6k. That's pretty cool. Positions open, look at this. So in the portfolio that we're having right now, the open positions generate 1.4k. Returns today we're just $10 up. Yeah, but that's just one day. Our theta, which is daily income basically from this portfolio, so our cash flow, free cash flow, $40 a day, so we don't have to do nothing and this just pops into our pockets. We're bullish, very bullish with this portfolio. I think if I do beta weighting, we're not going to see any numbers here on SPY, yeah, because lots of those positions can't have delta calculated for them. But you can see beta weighted, we're kind of neutral, yeah, with moving towards bullishness. Why? Because I'm mostly invested in silver and gold miners and uranium producers and some other kind of companies. Maybe here a little bit speculation on AT&T, and Walmart is gone now, so not too much speculation. Another speculative trade here is Intel, which we're going to discuss in a moment. But just to look at the portfolio, it's very healthy. $40 a day is not too bad for a portfolio, on an account of 8k. So it's a small account, producing $40 per day. That's pretty cool. So what else? We don't have too much dollars available, $510 for trading, but this is also something I want to keep for adjustments. You know that it's absolutely of absolute high importance to have some currency on your account for adjustments in case things go wrong or bad. You can actually apply some adjustments, and then you will need some currency from this whatever you have in there. Now let's go through all the trades just quickly. So you see that we have 0 losers now, that the market is really crazy, because that's a not normal condition. Normally you would have some negative numbers here, and right now we have just like winners here. We don't see anything. Maybe here a little bit on the Intel, which I want to discuss with you just in a moment. It's a fresh trade from today. And then on SPY, which is our insurance, which is normal to pay for the insurance, that the rest of the positions, they are all in positive numbers. That's crazy. I mean, that should not be happening. Okay, so let's move on to the Intel trade, not to waste any time. And let's discuss Intel first on the chart, or maybe let's look at the fundamentals first. So if I just move to FinViz and I type in INTC, okay, you will see the chart of Intel, and you see this very choppy and crazy kind of looking chart. Here FinViz doesn't show you the earning reports, like any earning reports that dates, but I can actually point out very easily where the earnings were announced, somewhere here, probably around here. When you see these massive drops, that's very typical for Intel. When they announce some earnings, they have some massive move, usually downwards. Right now, what you see, where is our Intel trading? It has been beaten up on earnings, and now it's sitting at 55s, and it moved there from position, being like in 68, so it's around $12 down from just a couple of weeks or a month ago. What do I do with all this? First of all, if we look at the fundamentals, I go to PE ratio, so I want to see what's their price to earnings. So what's the value of the company, more or less? You know that anything below 15 on PE ratio is considered undervalued. Fair value is around 15 and a little bit above. So you can see that Intel, being such a large company, which pays dividend 2.5%, employs like 100,000 people, huge company, chip producer. Now there has been chip shortages. For example, for car producers, there's not many new cars being produced because of chip shortages on US market, or even the Japanese. They don't produce that many cars because they don't have chips. So there is demand for the product of Intel and for the products that they're creating, the semiconductors. And you see it's been totally undervalued. With this number, this is a value company. This is something that has been there for years. It's not going to go anywhere, but has been traded, beaten up strongly on their earnings, which were actually good earnings. So if we go to here to Thinkorswim and look at their earning reports, they made money. They made more than analysts expected. Analysts expected 1.1 baht per share, while they produced 1.39 baht per share. So in this absolute crazy casino market, things like that happen. And what you see technically here, Intel dropped down to its 200-day moving average here, and it's also a large support zone here, 55 and 50, 52, or more or less 52 and a half, 52.5 large support zones, but here also 200-day moving average, and it bounced of it. It bounced and it created two candles above. Okay, so you see, first of all, what happened, that this situation is not something that didn't happen before. If we move to the past and analyze last time earnings, which were maybe reacting in a terrible way as well. So here 1.5, they also announced, the expectation was 1.1 baht. They announced 1.5, so much better earnings than expected. The price dropped, hit the 200-day moving average, generated two candles, and then look at this bull run. So the run was from 55 to 68. Okay, so what I'm expecting here is something similar. The situation also repeated here. We had a massive drop. Okay, then it bounced at 45 level support, but was staying there a little bit. But then it had this massive bull run. Again back to kind of filling the gap between announcement and its lowest point, and it reached it at the time of announcing the new next earnings report. So it's from earnings to earnings. It seems like Intel just drops and runs. So what I expect here is to happen, it's the same thing to happen. So what I see, first of all, I would expect Intel to fill the gap, but also maybe run up to its new all-time highs, or not all-time highs, year-to-date highs, which was 68.49. So this is my expectation, and therefore I decided to create a little speculative trade in this portfolio to take advantage of this situation. So what else you can see here on stochastics, it has been oversold. MACDs are about to cross over, so everything on earth tells me that this thing is gonna start moving up. Crossover between MACD line and signal line coming up soon, maybe today, maybe tomorrow, maybe next week. But when they cross, that typically triggers the trading algorithms to start buying, because it's a signal, and this signal is used by lots of algorithms that are trading stocks and futures and whatever else. So typically that's what's going to happen here. So I expect a little bit of bullishness, and that would maybe take it up to the new highs. So like I said, all the signals here on the earth tell me that I should play around with this and speculate. Of course, I may not be right. I don't have crystal ball, but that's the point of speculation. So all the signals tell me technically this thing is very likely gonna come back up, based on history, based on previous movements of this, and based on recent movements of the price. So what I did is actually I created a broken wing butterfly for this on INTC. The trade is already running. Okay, so I put the trade before in the morning today for 59 days. It's a butterfly going from 57.5 to having its head at 62.5. strike price, and then the protective call 65 level. So this is valid, as I said, for 60 days. So I expect this to happen at least within the next 2 months. So the move of Intel, and well, it's not making money yet. Intel is moving positively today, bullishly. But let's look at this from the perspective of a risk profile. So analyze. There is our Intel trade. Okay, so this is our broken wing butterfly, and let's see the potential risk-reward ratios and what may happen here. So what's our investment in this trade? Our investment is just $100. It's a small account. Remember, we can't be risking $1,000 on trades like this. So just $100 with the potential to make 400 actually. So it's a 1-to-4 ratio. If Intel shoots above the level of 62.5, we're still making money. So the worst case scenario on the upside is if it just goes above 65, that's maximum what we can make on this trade is $150. So our sweet spot is at 62.5, and I will show you why I chose that spot. So let's look at the, first of all, zoom in here, and let's look at the gap here on earnings. So Intel gapped from 62.5, look at that, gap from 62.5 down to basically 60s, something around that, and then just keep dropping to 55s. Okay, so now we're trading at 55.555, right? 62.5 is exactly at the spot of the gap, so top level of the lower level of that candle here, the red candle here, is at 65, basic 62.5. So what I'm expecting here is that the price comes back to that level and maybe bounces back down, as this became the new resistance zone. We will have also 50-day moving average on the way, but I expect this to come back up a little bit as the prices move up. As you can see, it was curving down a little bit here, but at that candle, when we had the gap, the 50-day moving average was at 63. So I think it will just flatten on the way up and then move up a little bit. So we will have a bigger resistance zone here at 62.5, and this is where I expect the price to kind of stop for a while. And this would be also the place where I exited that trade. So if I see Intel going slowly up to 62.5, that's where I'm going to exit. The time will be working for me. So the pink line is going to be going towards the blue line. Blue line is the value of the contracted expiry. Okay, and if I get to a point that this line looks something like this, probably I'll be making around $200, something like this, on this trade. If it gets there very slowly. If it shoots over it because we had some massive buying or something, it's fine. We will end up with wins of $150. So that's the plan for the trade. On the other side, when the thing starts going against us, and if we're starting moving down, well, first of all, we're just risking $100, but I don't want to lose all of this, of course. If we continue going down, okay, so now Intel is above the 200-day moving average, but if it hits this moving average again and breaks it and goes down to like 52, I'm going to be out. So if we look at this, if I reach the level of 52, I'm going to be losing $58 around, okay, and then I'm going to be exiting this trade. So total risk in this trade is really not $100, it's $50 according to our plan. So very simple trade with some nice potential of quadrupling our cash. So our return on investment can be 400%, 50% or 100% somewhere here if we get to 62.5 very slowly. So there is a nice perspective for this trade, and that's what I wanted to show you. So now we have a new amazing speculative in the portfolio, which is generally designed to cash flow. But on this trade, you can actually, you can use some of that cash flow that we're generating, $40 per day, and just invest in some speculation, and that's kind of like risk-free speculating. Okay, so that's what we have, and now I'm gonna move on to the part for my academy students. So what we're going to discuss here is the Hecla mining company and the oil. So let's go there.